Hey, welcome to tuning into the channel. Hey, this is going to be the first episode of the new fully packed channel that we're not changing. We're going forward with for the existence of the rest of the time that we're doing YouTube here until there's another creation of another platform that we'll be on. We'll strictly be on this channel from now on. So welcome in. If this is your first time ever being introduced to me, my name is Craig Houston, and this is actually going to be our episode that we're going to break down my first full year in real estate and basically just have a conversation about how that looked, the experiences that I had, and just breaking all that down for you, especially if you are someone who is one of thinking about making an entry into real estate, which is where we're going to start, and we're going to break all that down for you. Now, before I get into the details of exactly what happened, transpired all of 2023, the ups, the downs, the good, the bad, the negatives, the pros, we'll talk about just where we came from to this point that we're at now. Okay, so 2023 was a lot of accomplishments overall. And that's really what I like this whole message to be, is that no matter what it is that you have going on in your life, there's always paths to where you can actually direct yourself to go further, push yourself to do better, and even through the trials and tribulations that you may feel that you're going through now, on the other end of that, there's an opportunity for you to actually come out as a success story in so many ways, whether that's you meeting your goals, whether that's just you making it through another year, there's you taking steps towards the goals. And sometimes the harder the steps to actually get a beyond are going to lead to even more promised land that you're going to see in the future. So I just think when you're thinking about things that's going on, take that for what it's worth, especially if you're viewing this video, that you're tuned in to someone who sees you for being someone who could be better than what they are today. And that's the main thing. So let's talk about 2023 and where did it actually begin. So for those who are unaware, I used to be in the military. I was in the Navy. I served for 21 years. And that came to a screeching halt June 30th, 2023, where I made my choice to retire from the military at that point. Actually, I think it was a great move for me. I think it had became a thing where, from a family standpoint, it just didn't make sense for me to continue down that path of a military career, where I felt like I had not only things that I can be better for my family overall, but also I felt like there was other passions that I wanted to pursue, and the military was getting in the way of those things. Honestly, we started with the Craig Houston channel before, and this was the way we was only focused on the world of finance, talking about basically stocks, finance, personal finance, building your portfolio, building your savings, things of that nature. But then I also had a passion for real estate, and I know most people who get into the business of real estate they always think that it's about the houses. And honestly, I thought the same thing. And realistically, it's not about the houses per se. It's about the people, in my opinion. A lot of times, if you're not a people person or you don't know how to deal with personalities, that can actually lead to probably a hard and difficult business to have in the world of real estate. So we moved to the Moving to Norfolk channel, which that's another channel on the YouTube here that you'll be able to find under that. If you're actually coming from that channel, thank you for being here as well. But Moving to Norfolk, it was actually the name. It's the name of our real estate LLC, and I think that company is going to do quite well as we talk about some of the things that we saw in 23. Now, the reason why that's important to note, that we went to the Moving to Norfolk channel and we actually transitioned that channel from basically my personality, was for the simple fact that that channel had gave me the opportunity to learn more about the business, learn more about the community, learn more about simply neighborhoods and things that are different between our communities in Hampton Roads. If you've never been to Hampton Roads, that is around the Virginia Beach area. The Virginia Beach is the major metropolitan area in the area, but Norfolk is actually where a lot of our military presence comes from. And if you don't know, Norfolk happens to be the number one naval base in the world, the world largest naval base in the world. And so our personnel comes here, and me being from a background of obviously being in the Navy, I wanted to, basically, leverage that in my business and use that in my business as well. So like we could talk about that in another video. That's not what we're here to talk about today. But I just want you to kind of understand where we went from. So doing the neighborhood tours and the Moving to Norfolk channel, bringing you podcasts with, our vendors in the area, the people that I use as specialists in their own unique way to get, clients from point A to point B, and whether they're purchasing their home or whether they're selling a home. These individuals make a tremendous amount of difference in our atmosphere in real estate. And that's what I learned a lot more as a realtor, that I've come to realize in this business, which we're going to see how that structures in 2024. But as a realtor, you are a key cog in a lot of people actually eating. Okay. And the ecosystem of real estate is centered around the realtor. And I didn't know that when I first came into the business. That's something that I realized. And, as you start progressing your business and you start to see, things starting to, getting that snowball effect where this ball is really low and then it turns into an avalanche and then you get a big snowball and then, all this going on over time. That is something that I was unaware of, and I'm surprised at how much leverage it gives individuals the opportunity to be of. So we'll talk about that maybe over time. This is not a predicated realtor only channel. This is just me going over my business right now, and this is kind of one of those things that I want to do every year. I want to recap where we started at, where we ended at, and then kind of like, just summarize what I've seen. And sometimes it's going to even deal with the market. So this channel is going to be so impactful from my standpoint of talking to you about the market, talking to you directly about how I feel about business right now in the real estate segment, how the other markets, financial markets, are impacting this, and us talking about just real estate and other things that matter to you. So don't be shy to leave comments on things that you are concerned about, things that you're thinking about, and anything of relative news that we can actually use here, so that way we can actually have communication. I want to have an open dialogue with you as the viewer. So I also look at this as if you're looking at this as from a customer standpoint, this gives you an opportunity to kind of understand what my thought process is, how I actually go about handling business, and some of the things that I break down. Maybe you have a way of understanding those things as well too with me, or you have a difference of opinion or a different view, but we can also, come to terms on how things work and the mechanics of opportunities. Okay, so that's that. So let's get directly into the 2023 business. Okay. And that's where I really want to start. And I think first, let me say, after I retired, I was one of those things was I wanted to hit the ground running. And so I didn't take the time to get the paces down. I didn't take the time to structure certain things. I wanted to get into business heavy and actually really just make sure that I understood, one, is this something that I could do that could feed my family? That's the first thing. Secondly, after understanding that, is this something that I can make repeatable? Is this something that I can scale? That's what's the second effect. The third effect is, how long do I really want to do real estate? And I have a plan. I want to formulate that plan here in this video, but I do have a plan. And I always think about the exit strategy. I think one of the things that I didn't think about so much more when I was in the military is that I think there's phases in the military where you do your first term, which is 1 to 4 years, or 1 to 5 years, in some people cases even 1 to 6 years, right? And then you have another phase where at the 10-year mark, you have a decision to make. Either you're walking away from the military and not, pursuing that pension, which those things have changed now, but not pursuing that pension at 20 years. And if you're not pursuing that pension, what are you doing? And how are you going to, make up for the loss of the pension? If you go 15 years, then you're already at the end. So you need to be thinking about, are you retiring at 20, or are you going to go for even longer? And what does that look like? 22 years, 25 years, 30 years, however many years that looks like. but you need to make that decision and understand what that looks like then too. So I think about all these things that now I have to have an extra strategy from just even in the real estate business, really and truly. So that's what I'm formulating this year is the exit strategy. Now, as I'm leaving the business of real estate in 2024, no. Am I leaving the business of real estate in 2025? No. 26, no. 27, we can see what we're at in 3 years, and then we can figure that out. But my strategy is longer than 27, in my opinion. So we'll see what we at. Things can change, so I don't want to commit to anything. But what I want you to know is that we're doing this realistically each and every year, and we're going to culminate the year by talking about how the business went, what was some of the things that I learned, what was some of the pros that I saw, some of the negatives that I saw, and how the markets kind of affected that. Okay, so let's just get directly down into it. Okay, so in 2023, I had basically only 6 transactions. Okay, 2 buys, four buys, 2 sales. Okay, so I was on the listing side 2 times, and I was on the buy side 4 times. Now that actually netted us what gross commission was $63,388. Okay, and the net of that was $54,388. So basically, now my goal for the year was to get to 10 transactions. I really started at 5. I really wanted to get to 5, but once I hit 5, I wanted to get to 10. And honestly, we had 2 other listings go under contract, and for whatever reasons, they was pulled. Okay, so we wind up being the clients wind up being released from those. That was 2 more buy transactions. So I would at least had those 8. And then I'll talk about some of the things that I learned this year where I possibly could have got to 10. And those are things that I just realized. But that's what we was at. So we actually had 8 contracts, but we wind up seeing 2 release. So that wind up not closing. And then we had 6 total transactions that's closed in 2023. Now, so let's talk about exactly how much was that in actual. I think that's a little bit over. It was like $2.1 million in real estate sold for the year. And I think actually for the year, that was not bad, honestly. Like I said, selling one house, there's tremendous value in that. But about over 50% of realtors in the business itself, according to NAR, do not even sell real estate. Okay, or some don't sell more than 1 to 2. If it goes down like 30-some% don't sell 1 or 2 houses or whatever. So that to me tells me that I have a foundation now, and that tells me that I have an opportunity here to scale this business because I've learned things, and I'm now starting to put structures in place to where now my business should start to be actually more methodical. It would actually start to not be hindered in any way. And one of the things that I learned immediately was that my first transaction came in May of 23, and then we had June and July, no business. Okay, but then August came, and it just snowballed. Like we had 2 transactions in August, and then we had another transaction in September, then another transaction in October, and then we didn't have a transaction in November because that was one of the ones that was released. Okay, so but we were supposed to close another transaction in November, and then we had another transaction that was supposed to close in December, but it got released as well, and we closed another deal at the end of December. We sold another house at the end of December. So to me, what I realized is that this business can get you really busy, and if you're a band of one, like I am, like I'm an individual agent on my team. But what really it matters is that I was juggling like 4 transactions at one point. That August to October period saw me juggling 4 transactions at one point in time, and even getting to a point where, August to September was 4 transactions all pretty much. And then October, we had 3 transactions that we was juggling to get to closing. So I understood that one of the cogs that I had to understand was putting processes in place to where I don't have to slow down. Now that business, could I have hired someone else to do it? Possibly, but I didn't need it at that point because I wanted to learn what I could really handle and what I needed to put in place as a process to continue not to be slowed down by a business that's actually in front of me today. And I think that's the part of the business that I think I've learned a lot more, and I'm really ready to expand. And I think in this video, you're in this video, we're only strictly talking about the business, and you will see in 2024 that you will see things that change with that. Now, I will say that the market drastically shifted during that time frame as well too. Buyers are still in the market place, which it takes a while to get rolling. And I'll talk about that a bit here. Let me just tell you the reason why I say it takes a while to get rolling when you first start in real estate, because basically the first client that I had was someone in my sphere of influence. I actually worked with them, and so I sold their house for them, and then they moved to Chicago. But then I got a referral fee on the other end of that, basically when they moved there, because they used a realtor that I referred to them, and that realtor did a successful job for them and helping them purchase a home there. But then that client referred me my second opportunity with helping another client purchase a home, and that happened in August. But then we had 2 transactions from open houses where, basically open houses are hit or miss. You can either be sitting in an open house, you can have 10 to 15 people, or you can be in an open house and have one person, or you can be in an open house and have no one show. So, having that business come in from basically open houses was tremendous in 23. And then, then we had a Google lead that came through as well that actually purchased their first investment property. And then we had another referral from another client, another sphere of influence who came in and referred another transaction that we sold at the end of December. Now, the other 2 transactions were actually an open house transaction where they actually got released, and then another one was another Google lead that we're still working with today. So overall, what I realized is that it takes a while to get business going. Some actually come directly in and sell and get business going. Some have a hard time getting going, and I fall into that case. I mean, from January to May, January to April, there was no transactions being taken place. We put the house on the market in April. It was under the market for 4 days, went under contract, closed in May. So then after that, the ball started rolling. But what I mean by all of that to say is that you have to kind of understand that this is not one of those things where if you're going to go cold turkey and quit your job, that you may want to give yourself a little grace and start building your clientele base first before you make the transition to leave your job. Okay. And I think that's important to know. And really just understanding that you should do that in any form of any job. If you're going to leave the job that you're currently at to pursue any other career objective, definitely make sure that you have either one, enough savings, or 2, you are able to seamlessly make the transition from both. Okay. So I just think that's something to note. Now, on the buy side, we had those deals that we had $48,000 in transactions. And on the sell side, we had 2 deals, and that was $21,450. Okay. So now, during that same time frame, I graduated from college at the same time. So, which was, something that I just had to do that was on my bucket list. So I think that was a great accomplishment in 2023 to say, to graduate from college and to be one of the first and from my immediate family to do it is something that I pride myself on as well too. But my average commission, let's talk about that, was $10,556. Okay. So that was the average commission that we brought in 2023. 2024, I think that we are more in a situation where it's going to scale a little bit more. I think the markets, like I said, let me go back to what I said, that the markets had a little bit of an impact on business at that point too. What I mean by that is the markets saw, the transition of the market activity being really hot during the spring, to where buyers was trying to, get, and there was no inventory, and buyers trying to, compete against other competition and get homes off the market. And then we went into a situation where all of a sudden there was a stop of that. Right in the September to October timeframe, we started to see where buyer activity started to slow down a bit, but at the same time, interest rates started scaling a bit more. That's when I think we was in a situation where interest rates started to be around the high 6s to, hitting 7s, in some cases 7.5, a lot of the time. And so that slowed up buyer activity. So a lot of the times, from what I've heard from other agents, for anyone to still be selling during that time frame, it's a difficult thing to do. And if you're doing it when they say when business is going good and interest rates are in a better situation, buyers come back into the market, you're going to see a lot more opportunities as an agent who's already established themselves as someone who could sell in a tough market environment like we are seeing today. So, I mean, I don't know. Like, I think the market did shift. I really felt it. You could really see it. Like, I mean, like I said, at one point in time, I was juggling 4 transactions at one time. Then it went down to 3, and then they started all closing. But I also think that was a reflection of me. I think that was a reflection of me not consistently still going out and earning the business every day, looking for new business, earning new clients, opportunities with them. I think that was more so me because I was a little bit overwhelmed. But now I understand how these things work right now. Honestly, we have 3 transactions going on right now, and they're not like slowing me down in any way. I'm still able to generate new business. I'm still out looking for new activities. I'm still showing houses. I'm still looking for new opportunities each and every day. So I do think that it was more so me just saying, you know what, I'm going to see what I can do in 2023 and not really hold myself back and say, slow down, fix this, slow down, fix this. It was more so, let's see how many you can get done. And now we're in the structuring of the business standpoint where we are operating at a systematic flow now where I know the rhythm, I know the cadence, I know the challenges. And we are, working through those each and every day behind the scenes to make it to where it's a well-produced product for clientele each and every day. Now, the reason why the Moving to Norfolk channel in 2023 is, I don't know. I mean, I'm torn about the Moving to Norfolk channel, and I'm torn. What I mean by that, I'm torn about the neighborhood tours because I mean, I look at lead generation flow. Okay, lead generation flow is that you have to generate leads each and every day, and if you don't put your best foot into the lead opportunities that you're already seeing, you're giving yourself an opportunity to not do the best, be the most productive person that you can be when it comes down to real estate. So what it meant to me was that we was doing the content, and maybe the content is working behind the scenes to where it's actually giving people the opportunity to reach out to me because they know that I am an expert in the area, in the communities. But I don't know that for a fact. Like when I usually get a lead that comes in, it's coming in from a different avenue. It's not coming in from YouTube. And I know you've seen probably other successful channels that's doing that. I know you've seen other channels that make it look seamless and effortlessly, and that's great for them. And I'm not knocking that. I just think for me as Craig, it was not producing the opportunities to actually scale the business the way that I wanted to scale the business. I want a listing strategic business, really and truly. Like I don't mind helping the buy side, and I love helping buyers purchase their first home or their second home or their third home or whatever. I don't have no problem doing any of those things because I know how to do both sides of a transaction, whether that's the listing side or the buy side. But I also seen no opportunities with the YouTube portion of the business. Now there is some type of part of me that says if you slow it down or you don't ramp it up, you're never going to scale to a level to where that production will ever come back to you. So I also think about that a bit, but I also see where I have a strategy to where I want to be at a certain level and a certain level of production by a certain point. So I don't know if those two are meshing, those two strategies and those two goals are meshing together right now. So and that's been difficult because I don't see a situation where I need to bring in another partner in the business. I don't see another assistant that needs to be in the business right now. If I need an assistant, it's more likely it's going to be in video editing. But honestly, that's a part of me as well that sees it difficult to hire someone to edit the videos the way that I want them strategically structured. And right now, we're just going to keep our foot to the pedal like it is what it is right now. So and that gives me solace. Okay, so that's where I'm at as a person. So what is the thing that I took away from 2023 that's more profound? That right now in this marketplace, I think we're about to see a boom in buyer activity and more inventory. Inventory is there now. Like at Hampton Roads, we're starting to see about 3 months worth of inventory, which is great. But at the same time, we are about to see buyers come into the market heavily in droves. And what that's going to do is it's going to start having an offset where you're going to see sellers coming to sell their house to buy another one and buyers coming in. So we're not going to we're going to see inventory tick down and pending sales and closed sales go up tremendously. Obviously, this is a month lagging indicator. So I think what you're seeing right now in December is a movement towards January being a hot month for buyer activity, and then we're going to see that be come to fruition in February. Like right now, I think we have on our board, I have 5 qualified buyers already, and 9 more that's looking to purchase already in 2024. So, but if we close the 5 out of the 9, that's really, we're talking about 10 buyer transactions already, which is going to be double the transactions that we did on the buy side last year, and almost double the total production that we did last year. So I just see it as an opportunity here for the markets to scale a bit. And I just think that's what we're going to be at. So right now, I would say 2023 was a productive year. I do think that we doing $2 million worth of real estate in the first year was a success. I do think that we left some skin on the bone. And one of the things I think about that is that, sometimes you have to, I had to learn from my military life, that you have to have a little bit more empathy with people in certain situations. And you can't, you got to learn how to deliver messages to everyone in different manners. And I knew this already, but I thought I was doing that type of, acknowledgement already. But honestly, I reflect on this stuff and I say, I could have actually done better in those situations. So I think that's why some of these, I lost some business that I could have probably won. And that's okay. You learn through, failure, and then failure leads to you, learning the mistakes that you need to correct. And then once you correct them, you are able to go forward and push harder at actually making wise decisions going forth. So I think about all of that. And I'm looking for 2024 to be a success story. If you're interested in knowing what 2024 looks like and what that business plan may be looking like and how it's shaping up, go ahead and subscribe to the channel here. And if you found value in the content that I provided you with today, definitely go ahead and leave us with a like. That'll definitely help this channel grow. And for sure, if there's any and everything that you may have a questions about, whether it's in the Virginia market or it's even about just the national market, definitely leave it here with me and we'll tackle those over the months coming, and we'll talk about those things each and every day. This is your channel. This is where we want to talk about real estate here, and we want to talk about what the markets around us are affecting real estate. So if you have questions, you have concerns, you have things of that nature, definitely leave them here with me, and we're going to tackle those one at a time each and every day. I don't care if this is only 1 subscriber or it's 1 million subscribers. It doesn't matter nowhere. From that point on, we are here to service you, and I'm here to build relationships through real estate and even through any other markets as well too. So I hope you found value. Like I said once before, I'll see you in the next video. Y'all stay safe. Peace.